Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting, the first one in May, and not happy May Day, but happy 2nd of May. I get a little bit further away from the microphone. Welcome to many of our friends and relatives as it relates to the Multiple Sclerosis Society. So welcome everybody for coming. And of course, we are happy to have everybody here for our council meeting, which will start now. And the agenda is before you, council. And I note there is an amendment to the invoices for approval. It's in the piece of paper that accompanies the kit. So on motion of Councillor Locke and Councillor Lane, I'd like to accept the agenda as presented. Council, all in favor? And motion carried, no contraminded. Thank you very, very much. Lands acknowledgement is the next part. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homelands of many diverse populations of Indigenous peoples, including the Beothuk, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. We honor this beautiful land as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. Council, you see before you the public council minutes passed from April 18th. As always, Ms. Mullins has done a great job putting them together. But before we talk about any business arising, now's your chance if you'd like to comment on any additions or errors that you see. I'll call for a motion to accept, moved by Councillor Lane, second by Deputy Mayor Kiley. All in favor? Those opposed? And that one's carried as well. Thank you. Business arising, Council. Deputy Mayor. Microphone.
Still getting used to it. Just from the action report for note number 199, we had identified last time that we are released and distributed the 13 city sport organizations. There's incredible support and of course ongoing support that our municipality will continue to do. It says it's in process. I'm just wondering if that has been completed at this time and that all the groups have received their funding.
Director Pittman.
So I understand that anyone who preferred check, that's been cut, but we're trying to transition to EFT for our sporting groups to make the process easier as per all of our payments. So I don't, my understanding is not everybody has completed the transition yet, but it's nearing completion.
Thank you so much.
Okay, anybody else before we move on to, we have two proclamations today. The first proclamation is related to MS Awareness Month. And I smile because I'm welcoming you all to the chamber. I know not every day is a happy day or a smiling day when you have MS, but I can see some of you many of you brought your families with you. And I think that's really, really important. But the purpose of bringing the proclamation here is to, add community support to everything that you do and you experience. And I'd like to, speaking of smiling, I'd like to invite Zita Kavanagh up, and she's with the Smilin' Mylan Warriors. And folks, if anybody else wants to come up as well, I have a microphone, but I promise I won't make you all speak. So it's really up to you, but you're welcome to join us up here. So before I read the proclamation, let us assemble. Yeah, that's good right there, if you'd like. Yeah. Zita, you have the microphone. And I'm going to read the proclamation first. Okay, Zita? Okay, just making sure. Whereas multiple sclerosis is a chronic, unpredictable, often disabling, demyelinating neurological disease affecting an estimated 100,000 Canadians, as well as their families, friends, and employers. And whereas MS symptoms vary widely and may lead to problems with numbness, coordination, vision, and speech, fatigue, as well as weakness, mobility issues, and even paralysis. And whereas people with MS are often misunderstood because many of their symptoms include fatigue, weakness, cognition difficulties, vision loss, and depression are invisible. And whereas, although there is no known cure, with early drug therapy and proper healthcare management, disease progression can be slowed, helping people with MS to live active, rewarding, and productive lives. And whereas the Smiling Warriors, Smiling Mylan, I always say, but it's the Smiling Warriors, Newfoundland and Labrador is a local non-for-profit group raising awareness of MS and bringing support to people living with MS in Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas the Smiling Warriors, Newfoundland and Labrador is made up of fine volunteers, some who are here today, who advocate for people living with MS in our province. And whereas increased awareness and public education not only enhances the quality of life of people living with MS, but also stimulates funds for vital research aimed at developing more disease-modifying treatments and ultimately a cure. And whereas the dedication and commitment of the supporters and volunteers here today makes this possible. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues on council, we do hereby declare the month of May to be MS Awareness Month, and that is for the Smiling Warriors Newfoundland and Labrador, dated today. And I'm very proud and happy to sign that for you. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to you, Zita.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are Smiling Warriors. We're a local group that is formed to help the people in Newfoundland and Labrador. And we've seen, when we created the group, we've seen that there was a need for local representation for people to be able to just call a 709 number and be able to get a volunteer that can say, yeah, I relate. I know what you're going through. Because myself, I live with MS, and a lot of our volunteers that are with us do live with MS. And our volunteers that don't live with MS, they have family members that live with MS, so they're touched in some way or another. We do know fundraising, we do support and awareness. We do. And we created ourselves around COVID, and we just bring awareness. And this month is May month, and we are bringing awareness. We got a variety of things on the go. We have education sessions. We got a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. So you can check us all out there. And we thank the city of Mount Pearl for always supporting.
And you missed one too. I heard you on open line this morning as well, right? So well done. And I know you were also down to St. John City Hall. And I really want to acknowledge the importance of having your families here too for support. And I'm going to turn it over now, Zita, to my colleagues on council, if that works for you, for some commentary. And they have the microphone. So I see Deputy Mayor Kiley would like to speak.
I wanted to say thank you so much, Zita. I think I have met you through this work, and I've known you for many years. And just personally, what you have developed as a community for people, and you got it right to say that when you are facing something that seems really insurmountable at times, or you feel like it's a really difficult thing to face, and what that means and all the unknowingness, having a community built around that, and even just hearing the words of I hear ya, I've been there. Peer support is almost everything. That's the filling of your cup on the days where it's a hard day and you don't know how you're going to get through it. So it's a really powerful group that you created, and I really thank you all for being a part of it and volunteers, because as somebody who has known people with MS, but also family members and friends that love them, everybody is impacted by it. And having people to say, you know, this is how I've been working with my mom with it, with my aunt with it, with my husband or my partner, that's so important. So it's just incredible. And I think you also put at the forefront in the Smiling is hope and positivity. And to be able to find that, that's the best any one of us can ask for every day, is some hope and positivity with whatever challenges we might have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Antle, please.
Your Worship, thank you very much. I've known Zita, I mean, I know the whole group. Now, when you talk about MS and awareness, what you bring to the table. 5 years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting Zita and her group. And Zita, it's the support that you bring around this MS awareness that we all became friends. And for your group, it's great to have someone like Zita to call. When I'm sure at times you have bad days and have this group behind us. But I feel like I'm part of your family because, your family has been around. I've been to more parties and we all get together as MS. So it's a good thing to have. And I'm glad that you're there to help people with MS. I wish every group had someone like you to have as more support. So job well done. So it is. It's great to have. Thank you. And continue on. I mean, you're all fun to be with. Thank you very much. And by parties, it's all birthday parties.
Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Worship. I think, Bill, most employers were probably at St. David's Field. So, yeah. But anyway, I want to say thank you for coming in. And, we all, I guess, associate the part of a certain, if you have MS or whatever. But, I think it certainly hits home to a lot of people when you got a friend or a family member or someone that do have MS. And we have been, we have friends of ours and family members that have MS. So we know exactly the struggles that they go through and their daily activities just to get up and get out of bed and try to, lead a normal life is not easy. But having support groups like you guys around, and like you mentioned, someone you can call on or somebody you can pick up that phone 709 and dial the number is really important. So good job for what you do and congratulations and keep up the good work. Great job.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lane now, please.
I just wanted to thank you guys for being here. And my colleagues have said so much, but I have to say, on Sunday, Azita, you're having a MS Pause for MS Newfoundland dog walk that's happening this Sunday, May 7th, correct? Yep. And I know that you've been doing this for quite a while because my first memory going is when I was actually quite young myself. And I remember seeing Alexander and Jesse sitting at the table, and Alexander was just a little boy at this time. And you were there in front of curves and things, and you're still doing it today. So you've been doing it for such a long time. So thank you for doing your part to bring awareness to MS. And, I can only imagine living with MS, the struggles that you face at times, and doing things such as this, it builds a community to surround yourself with. And it's great to find others who are like yourselves and for everyone to show their support. So thank you for being here and thank you for all you do. And I'm absolutely looking forward to the dog walk on Sunday as well. Absolutely. Wow.
All right. Thank you very much. And we're going to the finale. Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Much has been said, Zita. I mean, I was looking down at Alexander. I remember the first time I met him, he was just knee-high to a grasshopper when he came around. Here he is now, a fine young man. All has been said. You're such a wonderful, strong advocate for the cause, and we look forward to you coming in every year. And you're just so passionate what you do, and you're just so kind-hearted, to ensure that other people get the support that they need. So you make us very proud here in the city of Mount Pearl. So thank you for all you do. Indeed.
Who you got with you,
Indeed.
Zita?
Yeah,
Would you like
thank you.
to introduce them?
Is, Nancy. With us, Colin and Nancy. And this is Margaret. And down the back, we got a few more supporters, but they can come up.
Let's change that up. We're going to do a picture now. That works for everybody. So council, I'd like to invite you up, and I want to have the families come up, all of you, please, and join us. Great seeing you all. We'll have City Hall lit up in red like you would.
How old are you now?
Rosie.
I'm 14. I think you might have been 6 or 5. Would that be right, Zita, 6 or 5 when you when I first met Alexander?
I'm gonna get you to move. I'm gonna get you to move. I'm gonna get.
And shake everybody's hand.
I'm gonna get you to turn around. Thank you very much for coming. Job, Nancy. Oh, yeah.
Thanks again for.
All right. Well, that was a real heartwarming start to our council meeting. You're welcome to stay, everybody. Council meetings are, okay, I understand. Here we go. Next one is the proclamation for something that's very relevant and something we do every day. So it's a proclamation for Municipal Awareness Week, which is next week, May 8th to the 12th. And whereas municipal government is responsible for the provision of services that enhance the quality of life of its citizens, and dedicated mayors, councillors, and staff are essential for the effective governance of their municipalities. And collaboration and partnerships and citizen involvement are essential for active, sustainable, and vibrant communities. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize and encourage the contribution of all who work diligently for the improvement of our municipalities, that therefore it be resolved that May the 8th to the 12th of 2023 be known as Municipal Awareness Week in the municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, particularly in the city of Mount Pearl. And we recognize this as part of the vital role of municipal government and in recognition of all those efforts that support it. And this proclamation is supported by professional municipal administrators. That would be under the leadership of Mr. Brian Hudson, as well municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. And that would be Councillor Amy Cody, who is their chair or president, and she's a councillor with Grand Falls, Windsor. And of course, the government of Newfoundland and Labrador Minister of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, the Honorable Krista Lynn Howell. And on behalf of our city, I sign this, and I don't sign it to check off a box. It is something we live with every single day. Later on in this council meeting, thanks to the diligent efforts of everybody around this table, we're going to be tabling our strategic plan, which ultimately will become some of the guiding light, much of the guiding light for the many years to come here in the city of Mount Pearl. But in terms of responding to the proclamation, I'm going to call upon Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Very worthwhile proclamation. And again, take the opportunity to thank our staff here. So we got Municipal Awareness Week, which is May 8th to the 12th. And we got a notes here. That's the right one. Yes, thank you. May 8th to the 12th is Municipal Awareness Week, a time dedicated to recognizing the important work done by municipal council and of course our staff. To profile our municipality, the city has developed the below activities to promote our beautiful city of Mount Pearl. So we got some activities planned. First one here on my list is our public meeting today. So we made our proclamation, announced the launch of the city's new strategic plan that the deputy mayor will take on in a couple of minutes. Building Tomorrow, which includes a citywide mailer, a resident contest, and a new website. And this will be accompanied by social media posts as well as summit posts on our screen up there. Another neat little activity that I'm really excited to see is we're going to run a contest, a photo contest for the week of May 8th to May the 12th. And it will run all week long. And we got it entitled, Show Us Your Mount Pearl, where residents are asked to share or submit a photo of your favorite place in our community. And we know there are endless beautiful places in our community. So I look forward to see, because as we know, we got 60 kilometers of trail in our city here. We have, a beautiful dog park. We got Twin Falls, we got Branscomb's Pond, we got Powers Pond. But there are different places of the city that mean different things to different people. So this is a real neat idea. We're all about consultation here. We're going to introduce our strat plan, and we had consultations with that. So it'll be, and when we did our find your center, city renewal plan, we had significant consultations to see what the city of Mount Pearl means to the individual residents. So I'm really looking forward to that photo contest. Again, it's May the 8th to May the 12th. We're going to profile the pictures and maybe put some up on our screen up at the Summit Center. We'll certainly profile them in our social media, and we'll draw some prizes for some swag, city swag, a little prize pack. So again, I think it'll be neat to see the pictures that people choose to submit. The third item here is a free public swim. All swims on May the 12th at our beautiful pool here at the Summit Center will be free. This will help invite more people to the Summit Center. And we welcome everyone in the region. It's not just Mount Pearl residents, because as I hear my council colleagues say all the time, we welcome everyone to Mount Pearl. So this is an opportunity to showcase the beautiful swimming pool that we have up there, as well as the great work done by our staff that work at the Summit Center. So again, the photo contest, May 8th to May 12th, the free public swims on May 12th. And again, take the opportunity to, I would just like to extend sincere gratitude to all my council colleagues around the table for the great work that you guys do. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoy coming to our council meetings. I respect all the views that you bring to the council table. We don't always agree, but that's a good thing. As I tell people all the time, around our council table, we debate the idea or the issue that's on the table. We may disagree about the issue or the idea, but that leads to better decision making. And what I like at the end of the day, no one's dignity is stripped of any disagreements, and it stays at the council table. So it's truly a pleasure to work with you guys week in, week out. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the rest of the fine folk around the table here, the support staff. Council is responsible for developing policy and direction with our city, but we are supported tremendously by our senior staff around this table, and indeed all employees throughout the city that make the city of Mount Pearl the wonderful place and community it is. So again, I just want to wish everyone next week a happy Municipal Awareness Week. Thank you for all you do for our residents. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, hearing none, let's move on. I didn't see, oh, sorry, Councillor Rice.
Yes, so I just want to add actually on behalf of the PED committee, I just want to add to what Councillor Locke has said. Actually, the PED committee actually are really excited about the plan. and the strategic launch of the plan. And just wanted to highlight, actually, I guess, a few of the areas where I guess the PED committee are planning on putting their energy and their commitment to this. So the plan, they are looking at engaging a proponent to support the city in developing the plan. So it will be an achievable 10-year municipal plan that will set an overachieving framework to create a vibrant city. Preparing, drafting, and completing the plan was really important to the PED committee. And the adoption of the municipal plan will be also, there's a few key components. I guess part of the plan for the PED committee will be the journey. So in part of that journey, we are focused on attracting more people to live and work in the city of Mount Pearl. Very important to council and the city and all of the city workers, and especially our management staff as well. So to do that, the reality is something needs to be done about transportation. We know we have a problem with transportation in the city of Mount Pearl. So we all know the challenges that we face ahead. So we're going to try to put our heads together and brainstorm what's best for the city of Mount Pearl. This plan includes the city buildings and integrated activity transportation plan, so we can better move people around the city. So when we talk about transportation, we're not just talking about cars and buses. We're talking about walking trails, and we're talking about bicycles, and we're talking about other forms of transportation around our city as well. And trying to develop, I guess, the areas, the strategic areas that would help us move the transportation throughout the city. Also, part of the plan will be the places. So in this plan, we'll focus on growth from both development and redevelopment in the city, with a common goal of improving our city, with a focus on climate change. Really important going forward for the city of Mount Pearl. And key action items include the development of the North Lands, which is north of Topsail Road, developing an attractive investment attraction plan for the city of city-owned properties. So any city-owned properties and land that's around the city of Mount Pearl right now, we're going to try to move forward and come up with a plan that would best fit the city, and continue the implementation of a focus on our center city plan, renewal plan. And finally, creating a decision-making framework to ensure an environmental lens is applied to all that we do going forward. So I just want to add that in, your mayor, on behalf of the PED committee, and we're excited to see this plan move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much. So that brings closure to the proclamations. Two good ones here today. I'm going to turn back to you, Councillor Rice, for planning, engineering, and development. And noting that Deputy Mayor Kiley is seconding in Councillor Fry's absence. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. So first one we have on PED committee for today is we all know it's a busy season coming up for PED. As we go into our spring and summer and fall, we have lots of information to share here today. So number one is for information for the public. It's our commercial street excavation permit. So we did some work on this one to change it, I guess, to better suit the city and what going forward for the information of the public. In order to ensure a consistent, clear, and simpler application process, the city's commercial street excavation permit has been updated to include a cost for security deposits rather than the previous estimation of costs. So the values assigned for clarification of streets are based upon average assessment and are considered reasonable for possible restoration costs. The purpose of the security deposits going forward continues to be to enable the city to complete repairs and restore the driving surface at no extra cost to the city. The set cost for commercial street excavation permits, currently deposits can be found on the city's website and I'll just read out what we're planning on doing going forward. So for the Old Placentia Road, Commonwealth Avenue, Topsail Road, and the other arterial roads, there will be a $10,000 deposit refundable. The Richard Nolan Drive, Smallwood Drive, Roos Avenue, Sagona Avenue area, there will be a $7,500 deposit refundable. And the residential streets and collector streets in the city would be a $5,000 deposit refundable. And the assessment fee for new water line, sanitary, or storm connection or upgrades, that will be a $550 deposit, and that one is non-refundable. And that's an on change for that one as well. Number two on our agenda is our 20 Number 20 Wayland Avenue.
Excuse me. Do we require a motion for number one, or is that just an FYI?
FYI, isn't it?
All right, just making sure. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So number 2 is 20 Wayland Avenue. This is DA 22-0577. And this one is for proposed family care day use, discretionary use. Background, this one, the city was in receipt of an application proposing to operate a family daycare use at 20 Wayland Avenue. The business will operate Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. The applicant will provide regular childcare services as per the Newfoundland Labrador Child Care Act. Public consultation process went forward. A council invited comments from the public in writing no later than 12 noon, Tuesday, March 28, 2023. As of March 28 deadline, no submissions were received by the city expressing interest in attending the briefing session. Therefore, the briefing session was cancelled. Recommendation from Planning, Engineering and Development was reviewed and applications pertaining to the family daycare use at 20 Wayland Avenue and recommends the approval of the application and that a development permit be used subject to section 7.18 of the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010, subject to the conditions as set out by Planning, Engineering and Development, specifically conditions as outlined by the following. Number 1 will be the St. John's Regional Fire Department. Number 2, City of Mount Pearl Inspection Services Municipal Enforcement Division. Number 3, City of Mount Pearl Finance Division. Number 4, City of Mount Pearl Planning Development. And number 5, City of Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010 and related to requirements. The committee further recommends that drop off and pick up of children relating to the family care use located at 20 Wayland Avenue, only that there be no parking or stopping of vehicles on Jeffers Drive associated with this development use, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Rice and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. I think all levels of government are working towards, the addition of new daycare spaces anywhere and everywhere. Council, any comments before we call the motion? I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? And that's carried. Back to you.
Thank you, Worship. Number 3 is our 59 Clyde Avenue. This one is pertaining to our park shed fuel switching project. Requires a change to the easement on the land. So in 2022, Engineering Services Division brought forward an assessment agreement from Newfoundland Light and Power for the city approval to allow a utility company to require easement to provide the upgrade to a three-phase power supply is required for the park shed fueling switching project at the H. Neil Windsor Building, 59 Clyde Avenue. To continue with the project as planned, an updated easement assessment is necessary for the utility poles and the line locations, now proposed to be fully located on the city's property at 59 Clyde Avenue. So Newfoundland Light and Power will cost the investment requires to upgrade, and the city must authorize via a contribution in aid of construction agreement. This can be authorized at zero cost change order to the city, which is very important, and you'll see that in your kit there, what's outlined. So Planning, Engineering, Development recommends the approval of the proposed easement at zero cost change to order to Newfoundland Power, and to authorize this via a contribution in aid of construction agreement. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Rice. Thank you. And second by Deputy Mayor Kiley. Any questions, folks? That would be folks. Excuse me, I lost my voice. I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship. Number 4, this is our multi-street upgrading and Farrell Drive upgrading. This is the owner's project management services contract recommendation. So the background, this one, the committee was advised that a request for proposal RFP for owner's project management services for Farrell Drive upgrade and multi-street upgrading closed on March the 30th, 2023. 2 submissions were received. Scope of work for the successful proponent will include design review, periodic construction inspection services, quality control services, quality assurance services, emergency inspection services, contract administration, progress claim review, safety document review, and hosting construction progress meetings. So recommendation from Planning and Engineering Development recommends awarding the contract for owner's project management service, Farrell Drive upgrade and multi-street upgrading to WSP and ENI Canada Limit for the sum of $233,169.40, HST included. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Rice, thank you, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. A question, Deputy Mayor?
This is a very important project, of course, and related to the work that we are doing, you know, around asset management, making sure that parts of our community and our city continue to be working and thriving for the community. I do want to just wondering if we could have a quick note, because this is going to be a large undertaking in quite a dense area around just communicating to residents around parking, and parts of this project is most likely going to include some normal disruptions with regards to the flow of traffic, where people can park, people living in the area. I'm just wondering if we could have just a quick note on some of the communication that will be sent out or has been sent out in relation to this project.
I think I'm going to call upon, I know there's some communication issues you're getting to, but Director Antle first.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We've had a full range of communication that we've already started to apply on these projects. Many of them have actually been through social media, through our website, through other means. They're also direct delivery to the residents that live on the impacted streets. So there's actual handouts, real paper. And also during the construction project, we have inspection services, not just with the proposed owner's project management services, but with our own team as well. So if anybody is on the street that actually sees an inspector from the city, you know, you'll see them obviously by their uniform, if you want to call it, that they're wearing the construction equipment, and they can contact them there as well. And there's also phone numbers that they can contact us. It is a disruption. There's no doubt. It is for the betterment. It is for our asset management plan. It's right now the most important thing that I always stress to bring to people's attention. These are work zones. These are no longer technically a street of the city. This is a work zone. We are permitting traffic and obviously residents that live there to access their property, but it is a work zone. So safety is our priority clearly throughout these projects. Obviously, yes, residents live there and we communicate thoroughly with them. Any further they can call us, email us, contact us. We have citizen alert communications as well. So it's a thorough communication.
Thank you so much, Director Antle. And most of those things we have heard all the time in our projects, but I think it's really important for us to state it for the record here in council, especially when we look at these larger projects. And I do appreciate that the work that includes is that we're doing necessary work, important work that's going to maintain our streets for the future, and, you know, in a way that we're upgrading, right? And at the same time, we put communication and safety first and foremost at a lot of these projects. So I do appreciate you making a note around safety, and that first and foremost, and also what we do to ensure that people are aware of what's going on, whether you are somebody going through the area or living in the area.
I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Back to you.
Thank you, Worship. So number 5 is our building and occupancy permit listing for April the 10th to April the 20th, 21st, 2023. So if you look in your kit, we have 10 actually on the residential side, and we have 3 on the commercial side. So things are starting to move forward, I guess, with permits. It's good to see within the city. So the Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends that the building permits issued for this period showing a total construction value of $620,330 be approved, and I so move.
Moved again by Councillor Rice, and thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. Any questions, comments? So we work our way through the microphones here tonight. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. I believe that's the end of committee report. Back to you for the finale.
Once I get this microphone down, Pat, we'll be all good. So number 6 are the development permit listing also for the same period of April the 10th to April 21st, 2023. And in your kit there, you'll see a number of new civic addresses and where those development permits are listed, civic numbers. The Planning and Engineering Development Committee recommends that the following the development permits be approved as presented for the period of April 10th to April 21st, 2023. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Rice and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried. Thanks.
We have one item left on our agenda there, Your Worship. It is for information purposes only for capital update, project update list. So see below for the scheduled construction dates for the ISEP multi-street and Farrell Drive upgrading, knowing that these days are subject to change, bearing construction unknowns, depending, I guess, on how we move forward with these locations. So I'll go quickly through these. Spruce Avenue, scheduled start date April 16, 2023, and the scheduled completion date is August the 30th, 2023. Birch Avenue is August 16, 2023, and the scheduled completion date is October the 6th, 2023. Roosevelt Avenue, that will be from Root Avenue to Donovan Street. Scheduled start date is June 15, 2023, and the scheduled completion date is August the 22nd, 2023. Next one, we have a Billard Avenue. Start date will be May 24th, 2023, and scheduled completion date is June the 28th, 2023. Carroll Drive, April the 15th, 2024, and the scheduled completion date will be July the 10th, 2024. And the last one is Farrell Drive. That will be from Holden to Evans Place. Please note that the landscaping and final layer of asphalt planned to be completed in 2024. Scheduled start date on that one will be May the 11th, 2023, and the completion date will be October the 31st, 2023. And that is it for our committee report, Your Worship, and thank you very much.
No, thank you very, very much. Very comprehensive report. Lots of business going on in the Planning and Engineering Development Department. Council, with your discretion and your blessing, we are about to do the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee report. We'd like to table our strategic plan, which originally we were thinking about doing as part of the roundtable, but I think my two colleagues, Councillor Locke and Deputy Mayor Kiley, will be taking the lead. So about to table the strat plan, I believe, is Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship. And thank you, Council, for accepting that motion. I'm very excited about this tonight, and so proud to be with the team and colleagues here who certainly led the way and moved this forward in so many ways. And also thanking the incredible city and individuals and stakeholders that really fed into this work. So I'm just personally wanted to start with that. Because this is the start of our future and our home, and it starts today. And we as a city are a resilient, progressive city. We have an unmatched sense for pride. Time and time again, we come together to support each other. We learn from each other's experiences, and we use our shared journey to set new goals. And as council, each of us has a vision for our community and responsibility to make decisions that are in the best interest for both our residents and our businesses. And that's what brings us here today. And I can't think of a better day than where we are signing a proclamation around municipality awareness, because this is what it's all about. You know, one of the most important things we do is come together along with our staff to set a vision for the city. And through the development of this strategic plan, we are going to guide decision-making now into the future. And I'm proud to unveil what is our new strategic plan, appropriately titled Building Tomorrow. That celebrates what makes our city exceptional. And while imagining and realizing the bright future that we can build together, it encapsulates everything about us. Our mission as a progressive, inclusive city with a strong sense of home, a strong sense of place. That's who we are. And this plan will guide our city towards transformational change over the next 4 years and beyond. My colleague from Public Works had talked a little bit about that earlier in relation to how we're thinking. We're thinking big, we're thinking long-term. We're not just thinking about what needs to be done today, but what we need to do today to build for tomorrow. It sets forth a practical framework to guide our decision-making and align our priorities to focus our resources. And believe me, there was many ideas on what we wanted to do. This is a smart plan. This is an organized plan, and this aligns with the many things that we can be as a diverse and progressive city. We are proud of what we have accomplished together and the tomorrow that we are building here in Mount Pearl. And so our new strategic plan, which I am happy to pass along to my co-chair, my colleague and co-chair of the Corporate Services Committee, is built on 5 aspirational goals. And that's going to really drive our city forward. And I'm happy to pass that along to my colleague, Councillor Locke, to talk a little bit more about what that is and what that looks like.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, there's considerable work gone into this, as we know. Several meetings and many thoughts and many iterations about the direction that we're hoping and planning to take the city. But it was exciting. I think back to the meetings, we all think so highly of the city. We had all these great goals, but we were determined to make this a plan that was doable, that we could set some marks and goals and work towards. So we're delighted with this. Building Tomorrow is the title of our new strategic plan. And as co-chair of the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee, we're delighted to see the emphasis in our strategic plan with a focus on enhancing economic development within our city, and indeed with supporting, as I mentioned earlier, the tremendous employees that we have working on behalf of our citizens here in Mount Pearl. So there are 3 goals that I'd like to focus on here. As Deputy Mayor said, there are 5 goals within the plan. Under goal 3, entitled The Places, we will develop an investment attraction plan for city-owned property. We do have some lots around the city, with respect to the site, the former site of the Tin Can, for example. Got some plans for that. The existing Park Place, we purchased some land down behind that. Some land on Stapleton Road. We have other pockets of land in the city as well. So again, as a part of our economic development focus to develop an investment attraction plan for the city-owned properties. We have the former swimming pool, for example, that also sits on some land, but there's also a building down to that we may be able to use or repurpose. We'll also continue to the implementation of our Find Your Center, our city renewal plan, city center renewal plan. This was another great initiative, and it was, through the challenges of COVID, and we reached out through, our online meetings, and I think we had, probably 1,100 or 1,200 engagements. We had significant input, and it was kind of interesting to see what the residents felt was our city center. So through consultations, we got a beautiful model out here in the foyer of City Hall, and it's a 25 to 30-year plan. And I'm excited because I have 3 beautiful grandchildren living in the city right now that will grow up here. And 30 years from now, I'm hoping to still be around and walk this plan that we're hoping we know will come to fruition. So we have some initiatives this year. For example, we're going to demarcate the boundaries of the city center. So you're going to see some signage go up. We got a beautiful mobile kiosk that's under construction now, again, with our staff building it. We're planning to, it'll be mobile, but we're going to station it on Forest Avenue this year to enhance that part of the city center and draw not only residents, but again, guests from surrounding areas to come in and enjoy our trailways. Under goal 4, it's the people. the people. As a part of our Building Tomorrow strategic plan, we will complete a 5-year economic development strategy aiming to harness our best qualities and ensure that our beautiful city continues to prosper and thrive. We've always maintained a strong reputation for our economic development. And I know just recently in the media, there was talks of a regional economic development framework. And Mount Pearl, opted not to join that framework, but that doesn't mean we're not regionally focused. I mean, we are engaged in our regional services, from our water and our sewer and our regional fire, and we're happy to contribute, but also regionally from social activities. I mean, we have our city days in the summertime. There's people from all over to come in to enjoy our festival and our activities, or our, breakfast with Santas or a Frosty festival. So we are regional thinkers, and we understand that what's good for the city of Mount Pearl is good for the broader region. Equally, what's good for the broader region is also beneficial to the city of Mount Pearl. And we're proud of the economic development initiatives that we have here. Countless times we've brought these national and international awards that our employees in our economic development, marketing, communications department, they've done us proud. They do good work with a foreign investment strategy plan. It's remarkable. I was just speaking with someone at a breakfast recently, not from Mount Pearl, but they brought up the fact that as a business person in Mount Pearl and attending, Jeremy Swartz. We know Jeremy. Jeremy is around the city. He's in constant communication. And that's the type of work we have here. And that's what promotes the city of Mount Pearl is such a great place to come and set up a business. And we must have, I forget the number, Director Pittman will help me here. Is it 12 or 1,300 businesses? Am I too high? 11 to 1,200 businesses in the city of Mount Pearl? Over 1,100. And for a population of 24,000, we got 1,100 businesses here. And we import more workers each day in the city of Mount Pearl than leave Mount Pearl to go to other areas. So economic development has always been a strong point. And I'm delighted to see the focus in our strat plan. And we'll continue to stay at the forefront of our economic development opportunities. And later on in our kit here, we'll see some requests for professional development. And Mount Pearl invests in our employees and in our counselors to go and seek opportunities. We're on the forefront. We pilot things. We try new things. We're on the leading edge. And that comes down to the vision that we have, the growth for potential growth, socially and economically as well. And under the third goal I'd like to highlight here, Mayor, it's the resources. We recognize that our greatest asset and our greatest resource in the city of Mount Pearl are our people. There are people. And Building Tomorrow starts with our employees. Their commitment to serving our residents is second to none. And I know we had, labor disruption in the fall, and we're working through that. But we value what they do day in and day out, the great work from the snow clearing services. We're now getting ready to prepare our sports fields and our recreational fields in the summertime. And of course, our bulk garbage, thank you, Mayor, that we just started this week. And there's a pride. There's a pride that our workers carry to the work every day. The city of Mount Pearl will continue to lead the way in municipal governance by ensuring that we maintain and promote and nurture a culture of safety, a culture of fairness, and a culture of respect that's appropriately underpinned by our policies and that we're held accountable. Everyone is held accountable. The city of Mount Pearl is a great place. I said I love thoroughly working on council, but that's got to spread to the entire workforce. So under our strat plan, our focus on our workplace to make Mount Pearl to continue to be an employer of choice. So I'm super excited about this. I congratulate again all the work done by my council colleagues and of course our senior management that got us to this point. Now that we got the plan, I'm looking forward to putting it in action. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. We certainly have an excellent strategic plan ahead of us. I'd like to talk about under goal number 4, the places. So resident attraction and immigration rank high in the province's policy priorities. This focus provides Mount Pearl with an opportunity to promote its quality of life, community amenities, and strategic location to newcomers and immigrants. As part of our strategic plan, the city will strive to attract new residents from within Canada and from around the world. Key action items included in this are continuing to foster equity, diversity, and inclusion. The opening of our new community center. The community center is going to be in place of Park Place. This will be a place for our community groups to gather, to have their meetings. And our community groups are truly at the heart of our community here in Mount Pearl. We wouldn't be Mount Pearl if it wasn't for our community groups. So this facility is going to be an intricate part of our city. We're going to continue to implement our urban forestry plan. Again, this is so important. We call Mount Pearl the city within a park. And we take pride in that. Mount Pearl is truly one of the best places you could possibly live, if I could say so myself. And we want everyone else to feel that way as well. So we're going to do our best to attract new residents here so they can enjoy our facilities and enjoy the sense of community that only comes with living here in Mount Pearl. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Over to you, Councillor Antle.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. It's great to see the strategic plan come to life. We spent so much time doing this. I think the residents can see we're all passionate. We talked about the strategic plan, and one of the key things of our strategic plan is actionable and doable. When you see this plan and you see it in the report, everything is there is actionable and doable, and we're going to move forward on all these plans. And it's not, pie in the sky plans. It's plans that are actionable and what, as we all talked about earlier on. And a part of our recreation and community services, as Councillor Lane was talking about, it's only goal number 2 the journey. And we all talked about this. We talked about this many, many times when we knocked down doors, we talked to residents. Safety is paramount in the city. And we're with, as that, our city is going to reimagine how the people of Mount Pearl will travel our streets and walk our trails. It's top of mind. We'll always make that in mind. And we're going to be taking measures, and Director Antle's involved in it right now, of talking about a traffic calming policy within the city. We talked about that many, many times, but it's just not something we just put together. It takes time. And we're taking our time with that with this traffic calming policy. We're going to take many measures to slow vehicle traffic. You're going to see that now with bump outs and other different things that as we do make new roads, and we're going to take a look at that. And we're going to continue to implement our trail master plan. We have the best trails, I think, in the province. Our trails are getting better and better, with connections, lighting and upgrades, and enhancing the quality of life for our residents. As Councillor Lane just said, Mount Pearl is the best place in Canada to live. And our trails are it. We all love our trails, winter or summer. And that's everything from me, Your Worship. Thank you very much. And it's a great plan. Thank you very much for everybody involved.
Thanks, Councillor Antle. To you, Councillor Rice, for the and then I'll probably summarize and we'll move on with your committee report if that's okay.
Yeah, yes, it's just a short comment from me. So I got so excited about the PED and the plan that I went through it before the report came up. But I just want to, comment on, we were all talking about the plan, implementing the plan, but I just want to, I guess, congratulate our team that put all this work into the plan. You could talk about a plan, but a tremendous amount of work that went into this behind the scenes, including council as well. Because we went to a lot of, the comments even came back from a lot of the residents of Mount Pearl. What do you want for the city going forward? And just this has been in the works for a long time. And like Councillor Lack was mentioning, it's so good to see it, putting into action, stuff starting to move forward. But the work, I just want to comment again, the work that went on behind the scenes for the, put all the work and everything on paper and start to move this forward is so important to all of us around this table and the city that I just want to say that it's so good to see it move forward. And I'm happy that we're moving forward in a positive direction. So thank you, Your Worship.
Well, thank you, council, and thank you, staff. I think you've hit all the nails on the head, and this is a long-term vision. There is actionables that are taking place as we speak for 2023, as well as will be for 2024. But, frankly, it's a plan that's robust, but it's not made up of a whole bunch of items that we'll never achieve. It's not overwhelming. It's realistic. It's practical. And frankly, in the longer term, it sets the direction for a city that will continue to grow, be a great place to live, but it may look a little bit different than it has in the past. And I think the one constant in life, we've all learned from experience, one constant is change. But having said that, this is the city's plan. It's for our residents, our businesses, and for our nonprofit groups. We want to encourage everybody. Once this plan hits our website, and it'll be www.mountpearl.ca /building tomorrow. We like your feedback. We want to hear from our residents, whether they want to phone 748-1000, leave a message, write to City Hall and just let us know how they feel about the plan, or leave some commentary via the form on that website. And I want to commend staff for continuing the level of public engagement, because it is frankly a living document. And I want to thank everybody who participated in this. Some of the delays were caused by, we had a busy year last year, but I remember going to at least 2 strategic planning sessions, and I don't want to belabor the point, but COVID hit our circle, and we had to switch. I remember one day we were in a meeting, and the next thing you know, we were on Zoom again. So frankly, it's been a challenge. It's been a struggle. And thanks to all the commitment and energy in this room, as well as our employees, we're going to get there. It is a living document, because Mount Pearl is a great place to live. And on that note, I'll turn it over to you, Dana Spurl, our CAO, for final commentary before we return to committee.
Thank you, Your Worship. And thanks to everybody. As the mayor said, it was a lot of work. Even just getting people in one room was a lot of work. And it was a busy year, but I think what the strategic plan does, the challenge in this city is that we've got so much we can be doing and so many ideas and, such innovative approaches that it's hard to keep it contained to 4 or 5 years. So I think what the plan does is gives us all focus. We came together and we agreed on what the priorities are, and we can take the next 4 years and just deliver on those priorities in unison. And it's a great plan, and I'm excited to lead it.
Thank you very much. I think Deputy Mayor, you're going to take the committee report now to lead.
I am indeed, and well said, everyone. So I'll be taking the first 3 items from our committee agenda. The first is the invoices for approval. And the committee recommends that the following invoices be approved for payment. And I just wanted to make a few notable points with regards to the invoices that are mentioned here. Of course, there's the St. John's Transportation Commission for I'm stepping ahead, folks. Am I right? Yes. Okay. Sorry. St. John's Transportation Commission for $113,657.86. As well as in March, Mount Pearl Metrobus routes, that's 21 and 22, ran over about 16,000 kilometers. Also within this invoice is the Municipal Assessment Agency for $67,640. And of course, the MMA completes all residential and commercial property assessments for the city. So we pay basically MMA a fixed amount annually for the service, and it's remitted quarterly. And this invoice reflects our first installment here. Do need to also make an important note with regards to item number 5 in the invoice for approval table. It is a duplicate entry, and the amount of $26,209.65 for Fort property construction and renovation. Roof Mount Pearl Soccer Hut was basically approved during already the April 18th public council meeting. So that's what the orange form is for everyone today, just to make that note. And so as such, it does not form part of the recommendations of the motion for this evening. So the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee therefore recommends that items 1 to 4 and 6 to 11 in the amount of $528,736.47 be approved for payment, and I so move.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and it is seconded. Thank you by Councillor Locke. Yeah, just for the note, this replaced the original document, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I'll call the motion. Seeing I don't see any hands up. All in favor?
I
Contraminded? Carried. Thank you.
And that leaves us just to the payment of register. So for the information of council, the following payment register from April 14th to the 26th, 2023. Total of $240,524.92. That's just for, of course, for your information. However, if you wanted to look at the vendor name, the document and the cost, it is all listed there within the kit. And certainly if you have a question in relation to more information you'd like to provide or any sort of question at all regarding that, I welcome it. And none, then that leaves, let's see, the next item, which is a request for tax consideration. And this will be my final before I hand it off to my colleague, Councillor Locke. The committee recommends the approval to exempt 2023 business taxes in accordance with the policy for charitable and non-charitable organizations for the following. Of course, this is an important program that we have in place, or tax consideration for all of the nonprofits and organizations that are doing incredible work in our city and also making it its home. So you have there listed 3 items. We have LifeWise NL, which is a mental health peer services group that is was Channel, however, had a name change. So that's also Masonic Parks Freemason Hall, NL Safety Council, and Campia Gymnastics. With that in place, is that that requires a motion? So I so move.
It is moved and seconded. Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Contraminded? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. And that leaves, and that's my final part of the report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Next item for our committee, Mayor, is a request for professional development for Mayor Aker to attend the Urban Municipalities Committee meeting scheduled to be held on May the 3rd of 2023. The UMC, as we call it, I think it's the top 20, Mayor, largest population communities in the province. And that meeting is being held just prior to the Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador's 2023 Municipal Symposium that will take place in Gander from May the 4th to May the 6th, 2023. This, of course, is in line with our professional development, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Locke, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley, and Councillor Antle has a question.
I just no, there's no question. I'm just talking about the UMC and the some of the acronyms and MNL that we're having next weekend in Gander. I mean, this is such a great meeting to attend. You know, when I first got elected to council, we attended some of these meetings out in Gander. And it's when you get together with all the other councillors across the province and you find out you all have the same issues or different issues and how they change things, it helps us so much. And when we have the mayor there and it's talking about 20 different municipalities, you know, as we talk around the table, it gives us great information and such a value that we can bring back to the table. It's the little things that you get, and for such a small charge. It's great that we're all attending, and that's all I just want to pass on. Thank you.
Yeah, the common denominator, I think, is M for Mount Pearl and municipalities. You'll always see that in all the acronyms around this table. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? And contraminded? Carried. Back to you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Locke, apologies.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is also a request for professional development from Deputy Mayor Kiley to attend the Atlantic Mayors Conference. This is being held on June 8th to the 10th, 2023 in Amherst, Nova Scotia. The mayor is unable to attend the Atlantic Mayors Congress, and so the committee supports the attendance by our Deputy Mayor, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Locke and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. All in favor?
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried.
And the last item for us, Mayor, is has to do with landline phone system changes. In 2018, the city upgraded the internal phone system, selecting through the procurement process, BE4K phone system. to service most of the locations in operation by the city. These services will conclude May 31st of 2023, and a new contract will be required for the city's landline phone system. In response to the city's request for quotes, the city received 3 quotes from suppliers, and these quotes were based on a 5-year term, which reflects the effort in transitioning phone systems and allows for optimal locked-in pricing. Ignite Technology submitted the lowest quote that meets the requirements in the amount of $21,746.45. This is inclusive of HST, and that'll be an annual cost for a total of $116,765.02, including HST, for monthly fees and one-time fees over the 5-year period from 2023 to 2027, which is within the operating budget for 2023 and would be incorporated within the operating budgets for 2024 through 2027. Corporate Services and Public Works Committee is recommending that this contract, again, for the landline phone systems be awarded to Ignite Technology for the amounts cited, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Locke and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. This should be a blast. Ignite Technology. Wow, what a great name, I have to say. Pretty standard work, though. It's we have a strong IT department here at the city, as well as a solid communications record. Any questions, council? I'll call the question. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and the last for information is our Public Works status report. As you mentioned earlier, Mayor, the free annual bulk garbage collection started on May 1st, and we will extend it 1 week per zone for 5 zones over the next 5-week period. Social media communications are underway. We are continuing with our repairs to manholes, catch basins, and curbs that received damage during our winter season with our snow clearing operations. Parks Department is starting to ramp up for the summer season with our sports field maintenance, trail repairs and maintenance, our litter cleanup as well. Happy to see that our street and sidewalk sweeping has begun. It's nice to see the debris from winter being cleaned up and swept away. Our outdoor rinks, although it didn't feel like it today, have been removed for the season due to the warm weather, but it hasn't been that warm yet, but we're getting there. It was sunny. Our fleet maintenance on our summer equipment is ongoing. And of course, the North American Occupational Safety and Health Week events are planned for this week, May 1st to the 5th, including training sessions for emergency and standard first aid, mental health, fatigue management, WHMIS, a mock rescue, and other activities. Our Public Works received a new JCB rubber tire backhoe from our 2022 fleet replacement plan. Our water and sewer work is ongoing with our hydrant repairs, our leak detection, maintenance and repairs. And the last item for us is a little chart there that shows water levels at Bay Bulls Big Pond as of April 25th of 2023. And we're encouraged to see that the levels heading into May are in an upward trajectory. So that's good news. And that's it for our committee report, Mayor. I thank you.
Yeah, on that note, well delivered. Thank you very much to the committee. I want to ask Director Dalma, I've had this from a couple of residents, but there is a bit of snow still on the lawns. Will that interfere with bulk garbage?
Thank you. We've had some questions and concerns, I guess, from residents that more so in different areas of Mount Pearl where there is still some significant snow in the backyards and front yards. Right now, we don't see it as an issue, but I guess if it comes to light more, we'll look at other options if it becomes more of a concern.
No, I appreciate that. And I think some of the issue is it's not so much the amount of snow on the front lawns, because you certainly have room from the curb in, right? Most lawns, unless you're, I'll say at the top of the hill here on the Northlands area, that tends to have more snow than the rest of the city. But just some commentary coming from residents. It could also be to do with people like to clean up their backyards, right? And that's where a lot of the junk, I'll say the word junk, comes from. So they can't get at it because of the snow that's piled up against the fence. So I'd appreciate it if the department just could keep a track of, some of this. And, frankly, if we have to circle back to a resident or two, it's not their fault or our fault that we've got this much snow on the ground. But it's always nice to ensure that, ultimately we want to make sure we provide a full level of service to the residents of Mount Pearl. Back to you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, of course, that, we put this schedule in place in a year in advance. So, given that the volume of snow that we had this year, of course, we couldn't see that this would still be a concern this late into the spring, that is still an issue with volumes of snow in people's yards.
Thank you much. We always appreciate the flexibility from Public Works. I'm going to move over now to the agenda, Recreation, Community Safety. Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one item for us this evening. We have the upcoming swim meets from May 19th to 21st and May 26th to the 28th. And this includes swimming schedule changes. For the information of the public, there will be swimming schedule changes from May 19th to May 21st due to the ARC 2023 competition for artistic swimming, as well as May 26th to the 28th due to the Mount Pearl Merlin swim meet. All schedule changes will be posted throughout the facility as well as on the city's website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Quick roundtable tonight. We're not running behind, but we're running, we've got a schedule we're trying to keep. So I'm going to turn to Councillor Handel.
Your Worship, thank you very much. First off, I'd like to be Councillor Fry passed on her condolences, her regrets. She couldn't be. Her condolences doesn't really pay off. Her regrets. Councillor Fry is off sick this week. She has a terrible cold and she couldn't be here. Also, while I'm noticing that, I'd like to welcome our Manager of Recreation Program, Sean McKenna. He's filling in for Jason Collins while he's off this week. Welcome, Sean. Just one thing for me, Your Worship, and that is I had it on my phone. It says Face ID, but it wasn't working. I didn't know who I was. Our 20-minute, believe it or not, the snow is, even though we have snow, our 20-minute makeover starting again for May and June. So residents are encouraged to go out and clean up your yard or clean up neighborhoods, clean up playgrounds. Any sports groups or like to go out and do that, the city will provide free bags and free gloves. And they're all available at City Hall or the Summit or the Reed Centre in Gloria Pearson. It was a real opportunity for us to get out and clean up our city and make everything look good for the summer. And that's everything for me, Your Worship.
Thank you. Over to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one item for me as well. Just a reminder, a lot of the information for the city, what's ongoing in the city is posted on the city's website. So, you can go there and check, because I've had several calls from residents asking about certain items, what's happening, but like the garbage collection, what's happening at the pool, all our recreation facilities. So anything that's happening, it gets on the website pretty quick. So this is one I'm just going to add in here from the city website, recreational pickleball. So just a reminder to residents that recreational pickleball, so this is picking up pretty quick in the city and around all, I guess, municipalities around our region. So courts are available and available for bookings on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Reed Centre Gymnasium. So visit the city's website for all the details, and the booking registration site. You can go in there and book a time if you want on that site. So just want to add that information in there. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Yeah, pickleball is certainly growing. I think they're the next member to be inducted into the Mount Pearl Sport Alliance, maybe. Over to you, Councillor Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just be one for myself this evening as well. I'd like to talk about Mount Pearl Youth Week, which is happening May 1st to the 7th. As I talk about all the time, we have amazing youth here in the city of Mount Pearl. I mean, oftentimes we only hear the negatives on the media when it comes to youth, but this week is to highlight how important they are to our city, because we truly do have amazing youth. I mean, for example, Alexander Taylor was here this evening with his mother, Zita. And Alexander is an amazing young man, and he spends a lot of his time playing music to raise money for different organizations. He's just one example of the youth that we have here. So Youth Week will be happening from May 1st to the 7th, and we'll celebrate Youth Week with free activities and events for ages 14 to 17. Parent signature is needed for those 16 and under. Visit the city's website for a listing of all activities or call 748-1010. And there's truly a great lineup of activities that will be happening. And I really hope that a lot of our youth take advantage of this because this week is for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a number of items here, but I'll restrict them. First, I want to congratulate the Seniors Independence, a group new board of directors. Chair is Herb Fever, Vice Chair Agnes Murphy, Treasurer Alice Walsh, Secretary Alice Burke. 5 directors are Jim Bolger, Mona Chipman, Doug McDonald, Mildred Pretty, and Bill Thompson. So that's good news. And it was nice to join them for their 25th anniversary dinner. I guess that was last Friday night. I just have to throw out a huge bouquet to the production of Into the Woods at the Holy Heart of Mary, Mount Pearl Senior. It was phenomenal. So I know I saw many of my colleagues out there, but it was just so nice. And it was the first show that they did, I think, in 3 or 4 years because of COVID. The last item for me, Mayor, I just want to celebrate the announcement earlier this week about the infrastructure announcements, the $308 million, and the acknowledgement that Team Gushue will be finished. So it's great news. I know I was there with some of my colleagues. Minister O'Regan was delighted with the announcement. I just want to thank the work that he has done behind the scenes, as well as the work done by MHA Lucy Stoll. She also was pretty instrumental in pushing this. So it's great news that it'll be done, that will alleviate some of the pressure off our Park Avenue and Smallwood Drive and hopefully Commonwealth Avenue. And that's great news. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
No, thank you. And over to you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've got a few, but I'm going to keep them quite as short as possible, knowing the time frame. I wanted to acknowledge on April 28th was the National Day of Mourning. It was an honor and privilege to attend the ceremony in which was held at our Confederation building on that day. And I know many of our colleagues were there as well. It's an important day to acknowledge. I did want to also thank the group of many labor and union organizations, and specifically the St. John's and District Labor Council that did a lot of the work and organizing of the event. It was pretty powerful. It was quite an emotional time, and it's certainly a strange energy to see in a room where you have so many individuals working in industries and lines of work where harm has been possible and there's risks. And some members would be coming in, laying a wreath with family members that are survivors or have lost a loved one. Some members has lost a loved one that year. Some members had lost a loved one many years ago. But the same feelings of grief and loss and were present throughout. And it just demonstrates when something like that happens in a workplace, it changes your life forever. And I'm incredibly proud to be a part of a council and a part of a team in the city of Mount Pearl, and along with all of our colleagues here, to say, we take safety first and foremost. We take it in not only as a culture, but as a responsibility. And we truly see the value in that. And I'm just incredibly honored to be around such stewards of safety. It's something that comes top of mind no matter what we talk about. And when we talk about major infrastructure projects such as Team Gushue Highway, which is an incredible announcement, and looking forward to hearing about more timelines and what that's going to look like. We know that the people behind the scenes, whether it is those doing the construction work on our city and connecting to our city, we need to respect and recognize that their safety is so important. remember the words that one of the speakers had said is like, when is enough enough? And I think that is a point of inquiry that we always have, whether it is through policy, whether that is through our decision-making process, when is enough, and keeping the safety of our members, and recognizing the value that many of our public works committees, workplace everywhere. And the fact that this year we're also recognizing this also has a mental health lens to it, not only for the survivors, but when we think about workplace harm, we're evolving that. And what was okay 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we're making safety a priority and changing and evolving that as we go along. So I just wanted to recognize that and also thank all of our colleagues and for the city to making that a priority, and for the many labor union and organizations that make it an important aspect of recognizing that every year. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. All good. Yeah, and the ceremony with regards to, I was happy to lay a wreath on behalf of the city of Mount Pearl. And it not only celebrates, current occupational health and safety standards, and remember those families, especially that have suffered and, passed away on the job. But I wanted to just say that, Mount Pearl had an experience many years ago with one of our employees. And CUPE 2099 and the city have always gone to those wreath laying ceremonies, COVID accepted, of course. But happy to see many of my colleagues there, as well as some of our staff. Our occupational health and safety officer was there as well, Chris Grandy. And it's a sad day, but it's also a good segue into NAOSH Week, which is upon us. And the spirit and the theme of NAOSH Week here at the city of Mount Pearl is really sitting down with our employees, going over current standards, procedures, and reinforcing the message that safety is the number one goal at the end of the day, whether it's physical safety, Deputy Mayor, like you pointed out, or mental health and safety in that regard. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. Good to see Sean McKenna here, pinch hitting for Director Collins. I want to thank you for your attention, your dedication, great strat plan, a lot of work going to go into it. I'm looking at the staff, a lot of work got to come out of it too. So, we'll work together to make sure that happens. And I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn on motion of Councillor Rice, second by Councillor Antle. We are adjourned. Thank you.